Now, we are back revisiting some eThekwini Education District offices today. Offices are said to be unusable. Some buildings are dilapidated. No electricity, no water. Labour inspectors are conducting the site visits to check on the claims that have been made by workers. Our reporter Nqobile Madlala is following that story for us today, joining us now just to give us a sense of what is happening on the ground. Good afternoon, Nqobile. Welcome to today. Now, I understand that PSA, that's the Public Service Association, complaining about the state of the district offices in eThekwini. What exactly are they complaining about?
Well, but Dan, yes. So the complaint has been something that a lot of unions have also been looking into. We're hearing that Nahau as well has complained. But basically what has happened in these offices is that they've been cut off because the department is said to have not paid electricity. As a result, it has made it very difficult for many people to be able to work. This is mainly because these buildings are high-rise. Some of them don't have proper ventilation in this case. So you don't really have much light. So they depend quite a lot on electricity. So what makes it now more difficult is that in areas like Pinetown District, when you're walking on alleys that are very dark because there's no lights. They're also very musty because they rely heavily on things like aircon to make sure that there's fresh air that comes in or recycled sort of air. Now, all of those things are now no longer there because there's no lights. In this one in Pinetown District as well, there's some water that we understand that is supposed to be basically pushed out. But that water now is gathering at the bottom of the parking lot where people mainly would park. Now, as a result, there's no parking space. People have to park outside, but it's also very dangerous for anyone to go to the basement at this point. And you can imagine if there's water that's just sitting there and not going anywhere in a high-rise building, what does it do to the walls? And it's just sitting there at this point. So they're saying that it's not conducive for these workers to be working in this environment. But at the same time, they're saying it's very difficult for them to do their work because we do know that in Pinetown District, they said that there's going to be an auditor that's going to be visiting them tomorrow. But at this point, they haven't been able to do the work because it's dark, because they don't have things like computers, telephone, which are working, because they require lighting. But at the same time, they also don't have generators that are sustaining them. So some of them have found themselves to have to bring in some of the lights that they recharge at home and come back just to work with. Most of them have had to basically stay at work and do nothing for the last 2 weeks. So PSA is saying the environment is not conducive. They're asking that people in the official states do intervene at this point, saying that the MEC, the Premier, and just quite a number of people saying that it would be great if they start intervening. They understand that the municipality had to cut them off, but can there be a conversation between them so that people can work? But let's listen in to PSA.
Our members are working in the dark. We have been told that the municipality disconnected electricity without even engaging the MEC, and the people that are owing are the schools, not the district. Hence, we have also communicated to the mayor of eThekwini to say they must find a way of department to work together because this is the third week. So you cannot have that situation where municipality disconnect electricity. Yes, we understand that they must be able to pay, but what are you saying about our members that's supposed to come? This is the third week. They are unable to work, and the environment here is not safe. We have called the inspectors to come. We expect the inspectors from Department of Labour to temporarily close down the department until they've addressed those particular issues.
I wonder what the Labour Department then has to say about this whole situation. Nqobile, they've been inspecting the district offices, and what did they tell you? What did they find there?
Well, but then they spent hours inside looking at every single situation. They said to us some of the parts are now prohibited to enter to. This is mainly the parking where there's water that's just sitting there. And they said that it's not good for people to enter that area. And at the same time, they said that they're prohibiting people from using the ground floor. Now, ground floor, Bradan, would be the area where everybody enters. In that area, we saw that there was shattered glass, which we understand was from an accident that happened prior, which is about earlier this year, and that was not fixed. So they've been working in that area, in that space where there's actually wind just blowing inside, and that is the entrance of the building. But at the same time, it's the same entrance of the building that requires heavy lighting because it's completely dark. So they've prohibited people from also using that space, which basically means that you can no longer then go to the building, inside the building, if they're saying that the first part of the building as well as the parking lot is now prohibited, which is where they can enter. But at this point, we do understand that it's going to be up to the employer, which will be the Department of Education, to tell the people in the department what will now happen, as they can no longer enter the building because those parts are cordoned off. But we did also reach out to the Department of Education, Bradan. They have not replied to any of our requests to sort of find out what's going on, but the Labour Department just saying that it's not safe for people to be in that area because of the conditions. Let's listen in to the department.
We had received complaints from unions operating within the building, the PSA being one of them, and then how. So as Department of Employment and Labour, we then had to intervene. We have just concluded our inspections, and we are in a position to say the building, the building, or some of parts of the building that workers are operating in needs to be prohibited. We have issued 2 prohibition notices. We have issued 2 notices, one being a prohibition notice and a contravention notice. We are prohibiting access to the basement, which is mostly the parking, and access to the ground floor, which then leads to other levels of the building. So that's where we're at this point in time, and we have just issued those 2 notices so that the employer can comply with the notices that we have just issued.
Okay, the view there from the Labour Department on the ground in KZN.